pour him some mail. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome again to another Witcher Wednesday here on Tales from the Grim. We are getting ready to dive into this epic 11th episode of Family of Wraiths. I can't believe we're here already. We have a lot of story to tell, some fantastic players to tell it, and of course, you, the Legion, who can contribute in any way you see fit. If you would like to absolutely influence the story, we had plenty of people helping to pen the fable last week. Look straight down and you can see some direct donations that will go directly to the cast that we have, but also help the players and the characters they're playing. So if you would like to aid them, how about that silver? Our winds howling is aiding me. So help me out, help them out, join the cause, whatever you would like to do. All the donations are below. If you want something simpler than that, here's this. Retweet our going live tweet. It's currently in the chat. Just go there, retweet, send the word out into the void. See if anybody decides to retweet in kind. As soon as we hit 10, or as soon as we hit 20, every 10 above that, we get special narrative elements in this particular session that I can't reveal right now, or it'll give away this particular session. So just know, 20, good. 30, great. 40, they're going to win, everybody. You're going to see them win Witcher. So let's shoot for the stars and see what we get. How can we be here? We're telling a tale. Why can we be here? Because of the wonderful support of our sponsors. Roll20, our virtual tabletop of choice. Go right now to www.roll20.net. Join up now for a free account, especially during this time of social distancing. You will be able to sit down as if you were around your favorite coffee table, your favorite kitchen table with your adventuring party, your GM of choice. Sit down, tell a tale in either Dungeons and Dragons, Cthulhu, Capers, a million different things are there ready for you to dive in and tell your fable, and Witcher is there as well. So if you would like to do that, please do so. You can go to www.roll20.net/start/ Tales from the Grim, sign up, free account, all that good stuff. And also, Artal Saurian Games, the writer of The Witcher and producer of The Witcher, is giving away a free PDF copy of the core rulebook right now and every time that we play. In chat, please make sure that you go in, enter in if you have not for the PDF. It's fantastic to read. I am super excited for this one, everybody. I am amped up to the max. I have bullet points instead of notes because this cast is amazing. They have a story this time. I have a bit of a story this time. You all have a story you would like to see. Let's tell it together, everybody. So the only thing left to do is sit down around the fire and decide exactly where we want to start. And I figure, what better place to start than where you stopped last week? Trooper. Welcome in, my friend. Just for everybody joining us, please tell us who you will be playing this evening.
Hi, I'm Trooper SJP, and I will be playing Prince Ezekon of Kreve, the ruler of a principality that no longer exists, who was cursed to be a vampire for 200 years, and has recently awoke when his curse was broken due to the death of his son. And this whole time he's been searching for answers as to what happened. Who killed his son? What is going on? What happened to his wife and family, to his principality? And there were a lot of clues being given from here and there, different places, but there is one person that this whole time he's been wanting to find, and that is his former lover, his most beloved, Kelhello, who was a sorceress and his chief advisor, the woman who he told everything to and that advised him during his reign. There has been some indication, circumstantial evidence, that perhaps she ordered the death of his son, but that's only a signature on a piece of paper. We don't really know if that's actually true. It looks like it, but it might not be. I mean, who can tell? But they have traveled to Hangforth, the group, to try to find her and find out what's going on, what's happening with her. And, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that some people might point to that makes it look like that perhaps she, is really bad. That maybe she's making new witchers who are evil.
Speculation.
And murder
Speculation.
Speculation. But there's no proof, and nobody really knows it. And at this moment, our group has been separated. Everyone is in different parts of the city, although they're all now grouped together except for Ezrin, who is standing outside of this alchemy shop, trying to figure out where his friends are, when she, the lady herself, walks out of this alchemy shop and says hello. And that is where I'm at the moment.
Very well done, my friend. And that's exactly what happened. So on the street of Hangforth, outside of the shop of Ananias, a door is opened. A figure that you haven't seen in the flesh for 200 years walks out and says, "Hello, Ezrin."
He, at this moment, has his sword out because it was a moment of sort of crisis, as it were, right? It's a bit of a moment of uncertainty, and he sort of pulled his sword out to try to figure out where to go. He knows that his companion Wim is in trouble, although he's not quite certain where Wim is. The last time he knew, Wim was in the shop, and his weapon is out, and there is this woman, and he sees her, and he raises his sword, this big two-handed sword, and he sheaths it, and looking at her, he reaches into his medicine bag that he has, and he pulls out the thing that he just bought in Ananias's shop for a whole lot of money, relatively speaking, but a fresh, brilliant yellow iris that is not from this area. And he takes a step towards her holding this flower, and he sort of he holds it out to her with it, not taking a knee, but sort of bending one of his knees, so he's sort of in a sort of a slight bow, and he says, "My heart, I did not, for you. I know it is your favorite."
Tears spring up at the corners of her eyes and roll down her cheeks as she takes a second to glance at the flower and the offering and the gesture. But here in this city, she cares not for the onlookers that turn to see what may very well be a proposal or some type of offering of love or a moment to brighten someone's day from the periphery. She ignores that, when usually she's very, very cognizant of the eyes and the beliefs. And she just says, "It's a dream.
No,
Dream."
It is I. I know it seems perchance some sort of witchery, but it is I.
I heard descriptions from Built Hollow, but I didn't feel it any more than a coincidence. I looked for you.
I was not myself. As soon as I could come, I have made my way here. My heart. I have so many questions. I know that you might not believe 'tis I, but 'tis.
You can tell that her eyes speak that she knows it's you. But she says anyway, prove it. A song.
He, holding these flowers still, a bit awkward because she hasn't taken them. But perhaps she wouldn't take them because who knows, they could be poisoned or something, and he's not yet proven himself. So he places the flowers back in the messenger bag, but sort of not fully in, so that they're sort of half in and half out. And he unsheaths his lyre, and he says, "Mistress mine, your wish has always been my command." And he gets down on one knee, and he looks up at her, and he says, "If only we were in the drawing room of Railstillen, as we once had been. But, alas. Nightingale of the East, for you, as always." There was a story I heard told when just a child on mother's knee, how once a sorceress known of old loved too well. This they tell, how when her lover went away, lonely the sorceress in her woe sang in her garden every day this her song. Blossoms may fall and the leaves turn brown, night covers all and the sun goes down. Rivers may rush to the seas with a sigh, the birds winging south go whispering by. Winters may come and the snows away. Ice grips the shores of the silver lake. My tree of life may wither and bend, but I shall await you until the end.
The tears fall, but she doesn't blink them away. I do not sing anymore.
Perchance you might start again. But please. And he stands and holds out the iris to her.
I killed your son.
And the flower drops.
You need to know it all, though. I tried for months to save him. By the time he got to me, he was gone. He was corrupted. He wasn't him anymore. But I still tried because he carried your instrument. Still, even when he began to turn into whatever it was, I had no choice. He was hurting people. He tried.
That cannot be. That cannot be. None of this. Kel. And he stands closer to her because he doesn't want anyone overhearing this conversation. I saw him briefly before he died. He seemed to have not a chance of corruption. What do you mean that he was killing people? What do you mean? I don't understand.
He came into the town. He was mad with some type of quest that he was on. He was accusing people. He was stealing from shrines and crypts. He couldn't be reasoned with, and even speech itself began to fail him. He cast aside his humanity, his being. Even his Witcher training could not prevent it. I believe that's what damned him. I couldn't help. Nothing I tried.
Listen, dear heart, I saw him for a moment, and this does not match how he was describing it to me. But perchance you were deceived. There is some witchery at foot, some sort of sorcery that is... There's someone doing ill in the lands. Perchance this person somehow made it seem not as it was.
There was something at play, a curse of some kind. It was... tried. It was beyond me. I felt like nothing more than a learner, a student again.
Kel, there is some sorcerer of great power who is doing some ill. Someone cursed my boy. Someone is acting on this land even as we speak. This person must have blinded your eyes to the true nature of my son, as well as sent him... Ezekon was on a quest to stop this villain from destroying our lands, the north, but this person, someone with magic and I don't know, but I think perhaps this person must have used you in some way, set you both against each other.
I tried everything I could think of. I separated him. I thought to work around, to retrace his steps, to see if he had fallen into some mage's snare, but there was no residual magics. Nothing could be dispelled. It was a curse. And when you say that you believe he was fighting a villain, I believe he saw a villain in every face in the north.
No. Dear God, I have seen of late the effect this villain is casting upon the land. Even at this moment, I have not been awake for long, and I know I'm not colored by existing politics or preconceived notions of the land as it is. I only know new things that I've seen being awoke since his death, and I have seen the effects of a place of power being used to control inhuman monsters sent out to attack villagers. A village that was once in mine own principality. There is someone who is using power to murder the small folk, and we must stop them.
She begins to nod her head. I believe so. Something is afoot. That is one of the reasons I am in the north. And at this point, Trooper, I need you to roll a verbal combat defense, as she has rolled a 20 in seduction against you.
Do I need to roll a defense?
No, not at all.
I mean, what? I don't know why I would defend against this. This seems to make very little sense to me.
You may roll a resist coercion, persuasion. You may do either an ignore, a counter argue, or change the subject, or end the conversation completely with a disengage.
You're saying all of these things, none of which make sense to me. So, I mean, you're saying these things. Well, I suppose I will have to. This is hard. I suppose I can resist coercion. Well, no, I think it would have to be persuasion, because I'm trying to persuade her that the things that I've seen are true.
Okay, do you want to counter argue then? Because she's saying one thing, if you want to say another, what counter argue means is you roll your own attack, basically, and if you outscore her, you do damage to her resolve as opposed to the other way around.
Yes, I think I'm going to have to make a counter argument, because I think she's mistaken. I think that she's misunderstood about what Ezekon was doing, and I think that someone has fooled her. And so I think I need to convince her that someone has manipulated her view of the situation, so that basically Ezekon was not a raving villain, as she thinks.
Okay, so you may roll a persuasion if you're trying to persuade, or a leadership if you're trying to appeal.
I may make both at different moments in this case, but at the moment, I think this is persuasion.
Sure.
Do we have any silver swallows?
We do not.
Thanks, Chad. It's fine. I can handle it. 26, it's a critical?
It is a critical. No need to continue to roll, even though you can go right ahead, yeah.
I'll do it again. 39.
Which is
my heart.
Pretty fantastic. Before you RP how you do this, roll me a 1d6. We will cut that in half, and then you'll add your empathy bonus to it.
Would you like me to just roll a 1d3?
Sure, if you want.
1d3 plus empathy?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not insignificant. Did I roll that right? That can't be right. I didn't do that right.
No, it's we can take the one. Oh, no, go. You have 1b3, I think.
Oh, that's what I did. So sorry.
No.
Roll 1d3 plus 10. I am empathetic, if not anything else. 11.
So you do 11 points of resolve damage to her as you counter argue. And my friend, this is a significant shift in the mood of the conversation. Tell me how she's adamant that Ezekon had fallen to the wayside. Convince her otherwise.
My heart, you must know that before I saw him, I had a moment of, before he died, he found me. I was still not myself, but I could see in those moments. And I looked into his eyes, and he had a clarity and a steeliness to him. He was clear-minded and had speech that spoke not of the ravings of a madman, but more importantly, his words of there being a sorcerer who is controlling monsters and sending them off to kill a veritable army. This seems fanciful, perhaps, hard to believe, but a day or two ago, I myself was off in the wilds of the north there was a lake, and in this lake there was a place of power. I was searching. There was a creature killing, gutting, flaying villagers in a small town to the west of here. And this creature was not acting of its own will. It had red motes coming out of its eyes. It was being controlled by this place, and we were set upon by imposters. Mistress, there is some sorcerer gathering an army through places of power to attack our people, the people that we both have sworn to defend, and this person with such power, the power to curse my son, the power to control monsters. This person also must surely have the power to shroud one's eyes. And I do believe that you would never harm Ezekon if you didn't think that you had to. And I believe more than anything in my heart that someone has deceived you. My Ezekon was not a madman, and there is a danger that threatens us all. And if this person knows you as they knew him, this person threatens you. Your safety is also at risk.
Where did you see Ezekon?
Outside of Built Hollow. It was shortly before he died. It was a clearing. I had somehow been drawn from the forest to the space, and he was there. And he recognized me. He saw me. Hell, no one had seen me for, I don't know, hundreds of years. I couldn't see myself. But he was clear-eyed and saw me, and he told me that he was working on a way to break my curse, and that it wouldn't be much longer before. But then men were on their way. They were coming, and he sent me off. He said I had to leave him, and I refused. I would not leave my son in a time of stress, of danger. But he had some sort of poultice or something that repelled me, or repelled the creature that I'd become, and I fled into the woods, and the next thing I know, he must have been murdered, for I was the man that you see before you now.
She leans forward, interrupting you. Poultice. Tell me of this.
I know the details not. I imagine it's some sort of Witcher, I don't know, monster bane. I do not know their ways in such detail, just that I imagine if they are heroes that fight the dark, they must have means to ward themselves from creatures. It must have been some sort of bane against vampires, or I know not details. It was just something that was odious, and so odious that I ran feared.
What did it smell like?
And you can see him trying to recall the sense of the smell. Grim, what did it smell like?
Roll me an awareness.
Now that I know what, I do now know what Beggartick smells like because we've had this conversation quite a bit.
Right.
A 20.
Certainly smelled like Beggartick.
At the time, I knew not the smell. It was something strange and like to make me retch, but since my waking, I have learned to identify the smell. The smell is something, an herb of some sort called Beggartick.
Roll me a defense against seduction here.
This is hard. I think I am still trying to persuade her of, right? I'm still trying to persuade her of the sort of the theory that I've come up with. This is a counterattack. I've not yet got to leadership.
Okay.
24.
Again, roll me the 1d3 plus empathy.
I'm not the best fighter, but I do have the power of my convictions. 12.
In this point, you don't really convince her otherwise, but when you mention Beggartick, you catch the fall of her face a bit. And because of the amount of resolve that you lost, you identify that reaction, because you've known this person for so long, is a mixture of disappointment with a touch of rage.
My heart? What is it?
I didn't think to try that.
I don't understand.
If this was something that you're saying was able to drive you away, perhaps it was something that was able to make him lucid, as you said he was.
Are you saying that this Beggartick had the ability to drive out monstrosity, and so it did me, so it did whatever might have been afflicting him?
I believe that your son must have figured out some way to, if not counteract the effects in himself. You spoke of the red motes around the beast's eye by the lake.
I did.
My theory is you were suffering from the same, and your son found a way to prevent it. And again, that flash of rage.
I am going to have to I'm going to roll human empathy to get a sense of the rage is strange. I don't understand why human perception, pardon me, why she would be rageful, disappointed perhaps, but rageful is not something that makes sense. And so I have to try to figure out why, so that I can better help her. 18.
She seems very upset about having missed something to save your son.
That is what I thought. Listen, my heart, there is someone who aims to bring forth an army of creatures, and they are using this army to kill our subjects. My love, you must aid me in this fight. Please. And I would like to make a leadership roll against her.
Okay. You're gonna, this is like an appeal?
Yes. This is an appeal to all of the things that we hold dear, right? Our commitment to the North, to what's right. 26 critical. 30. You, please. I know that you want, I imagine that you are. I cannot imagine the feelings that you must be feeling right now, knowing that it was your hand that used the pen to give the writ of death upon my son, who I know that you loved as your own. And I know that this must be difficult. It is difficult for me, but we can make this right. We can make this place that is so dark and ugly into a place of beauty again. We can save our people. And what's more, my love, we can make this place, we can inspire them to be better. We can make them all sing again. We can make this place a place of beauty. And I cannot do it without you. And I do not want to. I want to do this with you by my side, as you always have been. And I want to make sure that you are safe. My love, we can do this.
A portal spins in the air behind her. If I told you you were right, would you take my hand tonight? If I told you the reasons why, would you leave your life and ride? She walks through the portal, but it stays open, and her hand comes out, motioning you.
I look and I listen for a moment to see if I can hear the sounds of battle.
Roll me an awareness.
Roll. 16.
You don't hear anything but the normal din of the city. There's a couple people that have kind of stopped to watch across the street. Magic in and of itself, even here this far north, is still interesting.
My rolls are whispered, by the way.
Oh, for darn's sake. Well, everybody can see him back home. If you, at the top of your sheet, you'll see the little whisper box. If you could unclick that for me. Don't know why it does that.
It is undone.
Okay.
It is undone. And so am I undone. I do the only thing that I can. This woman who I've trusted with my life, and the life of my family, this woman who I have used my considerable powers of perception upon, and know that she has done everything to save my son. I reach out and I take her hand and walk through the portal.
The hand stays just ahead of you. As you reach, it kind of moves just a few inches in front of you. And as you step through the portal, you realize as the afternoon turns to early evening that you are at the docks. And just a few hundred yards away, on the boat of the student Sunrise, we meet somebody new. Welcome, Yannicka.
Ooh.
You are aboard the ship bound from Oxenfort for Hangsforth and Hangsforth's League. As you were in this ship, you have this entire barge to yourself for reasons that you and you alone can explain. This craft of one, built for at least 30 people, was guided by the river tugs of Hangsforth without being boarded, slipped into a dock, and there it was abandoned. As you have been on this boat for almost a day in dock, you began to hear the sounds of drowners scratching upon the exterior hull. That gross cracking of bubbles and fetid breath. But nobody has come. No harbor master. No investigation. You are aboard an empty craft, surrounded by drowners. But, my friend, I will allow you to roll awareness and then describe who we are looking at.
So, awareness of 17. You were looking at Yannicka. She is a petite elf, garbed very, well, to people in a city, it'd be quite eccentrically. For those who ventured into the Blue Mountains, she wouldn't look that out of place. She's wearing various shades of browns with leafy patterns and feathers and beads tucked in and tied into her hair and clothing. She also has like a hip scarf belt satchel, which hangs various bottles of medicinal supplies, perhaps, all sorts of ingredients, alchemy maybe. And she has almost a perpetual squint or scowl to her face as she just takes in her surroundings, kind of brushing out some of the very curly, messy hair. Looks like it hasn't been brushed in who knows how long.
With a 17 in awareness, and with a mop of unkept, unbrushed hair, Yannicka, you aboard the ship are able to find perhaps it's luck, perhaps it's the hollow tinging of the drowners as they move up and down the hall, seeking some way to get through the wood to what they believe is a meal on the other side. But as it taps and tings along the hall, at one point you hear an odd hollow sound, and upon further investigation, you find a smuggler's compartment. Inside this compartment, you believe are barrels and barrels of sealed beggar tick.
Well, that's interesting, especially considering her history with beggar tick. She'll take some, she'll open up a cask of it and put some in a bottle or a vial for later. Keep it airtight. It's good to always have some to work with. And are there any logs on this vessel? She knows the people have left, but is there paperwork in the captain's quarters, perhaps?
With a roll of 17, you get up there and you find the general logbook of a craft that was used to patrolling the rivers around Oxenford. Mostly a passenger ship that would take people from Novigrad up to Oxenford and back and forth. Just kind of coastal movements, nothing really of the same cargo or trade size as much as a passenger ship. And the names of these passengers are seldom written down. But occasionally you'll see if it's one or two, the names will be there. But if it's a group of like 5 or more, it just says 5 or more, or whatever the number would happen to be. But you do notice at one point a name repeats itself within the past 4 months, and that name is Ezekon of Kreve.
Of Kreve. That is interesting. Sure. Makes note of that and note of when the last voyage was that this person took. How recently is their name in the book? Aside from 4 months ago.
It's 4 months ago, and then again 2 months later. So 3 months and 2 weeks later.
Okay, interesting. Just kind of flip through it. Seeing that, she'll make a mental note, maybe even write it down. And or just rip the piece of paper out more than likely. She wouldn't take the time to write that down. Just tear it out.
No one to stop you.
Exactly. Stuff it into a pouch, probably next to the beggar tick. And so if there's a window or something, she'll look out just to see the drowner situation.
Yeah, this is a river craft. Yeah, this is a river craft, so there's a few portholes that are there, more for aesthetics than anything else. But when you look out occasionally, you'll see the tops of a head go by. Out in the water of the river, on the riverside, you do see several of them sitting with just their eyes out like a crocodile. You know, that weird bubble that kind of comes out, but they're just resting, if that's what drowners do at times. But you can't get a number. But there seemed to be a strong presence outside the craft.
Yeah. And she's at the docks. Does she see any other vessels?
I'll use your 17 awareness. You realize that there is a 2 dock. There's about 12 actual slips here. But there are 2 empty ones between your vessel and the next craft, which is like a sturdier, flat-bottomed riverboat. But they all seem to be the same make, but they're a distance away, as if you have been isolated.
Of course. Didn't know this ship was full of elves. How far away is the town or the city?
By
Can
water,
you see it from here?
About 25 yards. By dock, about 50.
Yeah. And there's a good number of drowners, so she doesn't think it's a great idea to just hop on off. So she'll play around in the smuggler's hold a bit more, maybe see if the barrels have any markings on the beggar tick barrels, or if they're just
they're not
unlabeled, sealed.
Yeah, they're unlabeled. They don't bear any type of like false advertising. They don't say like pickles or wheat or something like that.
Okay.
But they are barrels. They are sealed. They're sealed very well, to the point where, you know, the wax and everything that's used to make them virtually airtight is just a component. When you open it up, each kind of package of beggar tick is also sealed in like wax paper and almost dipped in a wax. It's like they wanted someone not to be able to detect it by both visual acuity and smell.
Okay. She is going to bust open all the barrels. They don't need to be sealed. Who needs this much beggar tick?
This place really smells like beggar tick now. Just, I can't express how much like beggar tick this place smells.
Yeah, she'll just, you know, pop them all open, set a couple of the bundles aside, however much she would need for her experiments, and then I think she just starts like bringing a barrel over to, you know, a decent place with some elevation away from the drowners and just starts chucking it into the river.
much like, and not to belittle the drowner community, but much like koi, like as soon as you start throwing stuff out, you see like a couple of the drowners like swim over to it and fight and wrestle over like a package or a larger kind of like dried piece of beggar tick until they realize what it is, and they kind of like let it float on the surface. But every time you throw, they'll swim over and go for it.
Yep.
At least a couple
Yeah,
of them.
so she amuses herself with that for a little bit until she's chucked out a couple barrels worth, had a bit of a tea party, so to speak. And
roll me another awareness while you're chucking your beggar tick.
yeah, just yeeting beggar tick over the sides of this vessel. Oh, crit. 27.
So with a 27, as you are conveniently chucking beggar tick, and as afternoon has become evening and the sky begins to fill with color and begin to darken, you see a sphere, a circle of magic appear on the distant dock. And as it spins for a moment, you see a woman step through and immediately evaporate into the night air. The image, the projection vanishing. But before she does, a man steps through and the portal closes behind him.
And the woman just evaporated. That's fine.
Yeah.
What's this guy look like? In these drowner infested docks.
Well,
that smell heavily of beggar tick.
I'll tell you what, because the dice do tell the story, with an awareness of 27 and it's a crit, you can, as you look, you think bard, perhaps. But then when you look more, there's a bit too much carriage and presentation across the shoulders, a bit too much of a regal air. And you begin to think, whatever it is you would think, but there's a bit of a frame to this bard that doesn't pretend to be royal, but seems to believe it at least.
Yeah. If bards aren't bad enough, nobility's worse. She'll just kind of like heft another package of beggar tick and observe. See if this noble's gonna notice that the drowners that are just very heavily prominent in the area. Just observe for a minute. She's not gonna announce herself unless it seems necessary.
So as you are sort of toying with the drowners, with this beggar tick barrage, as the like three of them continue to swim over to every drop, every explosion or splash, as they swim over, realize what it is, drop it, and then hear another splash, think it's something new, and swim over to it. We'll get back to this scene, but before we do any of this, again, as afternoon becomes night, we go to an alleyway where we find the rest of our considerable players. We'll be back. Lindy. All right, everybody, welcome back into the main host here. You all are behind the Porthos and Starzan have just been killed, the two false witchers. You all have stories to share. As Dusa, you come up at the very end of all of this, making note, the final member of the party to arrive after your meeting with Ezekon of Kreve and Susie Midnight, the street urchin that seems to prowl the streets of Hangsforth. You are all together, you are all within earshot, and as far as you can tell, safe. My friends, what do you do?
Wim will look at his compatriots that have rushed to attempt to help. Thank you. Last thing I'd expect is to get tag teamed by witches in an alleyway.
It's not the only problem that we have right now.
All good. Well, I will say this. They were hunting me medallion. So I must search their bodies, see if I can't find anything helpful.
Yeah. You and me both.
Might I suggest that we hurry a night? the mage is watching and was gonna aid them.
Disa, would you like to help us search the bodies? Might be something you recognize, smell.
Well, let me know what you find. I ran into Jeffers, and they know we're here.
Yeah.
The second you mention Jeffers, I'm going to take the head off the one that's still in front of me, that's mostly together. I've still got a bone saw in my hand.
You have one Witcher head.
I look over towards Varen. Add it to your bag, and I will soft underarm bowl it to you, and grab this guy's medallion, and then give him a quick once-over.
As she catches it, she just lets her hands freeze the entire head, so it's like a head in an ice ball.
And then I'll give the other one a once-over. Look over at Eris. Once we're done, we should probably burn him.
So Ezrin is not here, eh? Just out of curiosity. No.
He was at the front of the shop, and that's at least a good 50, 100 feet away.
So Jisa is going to go looking for Ezrin. He says, I need to find Ezrin.
Aye, don't... Be careful.
Can I make some kind of check to search this body?
Yeah, you're able to search it. They have very little on them outside of their armor and their weaponry. However, they both have a dragon medallion around their necks. One of them was cut off by the stalactite icicles that went through Starzan, but the other one is intact. However, what you do realize is when you pull out these medallions, they are kind of figure-eighted, their chain is, with another medallion that is inside their clothing. And Eris, you would find a Viper medallion, and you are fairly confident because of the having seen it enough. It looks like Evil Eyes.
I take a moment. Is this the one who still has... Which one has it? The one I took the head off, or the one I took the jaw off?
We'll say the one you took the head off, because then it just sort of hit the ground.
I pick it up, stow it away, don't say anything. And I will very calmly walk over to the other one, take my my stiletto poignard, and I put out both his eyes and make sure that we don't leave medallions, and I bundle up their weapons in one of their cloaks. These are just two guys. They're not witches at all. There's no evidence that they were witches. There's no medallions, there's no two swords, there's none of that. They're just two people who went down the wrong alleyway. And I'll leave Wim to search sort of the other person, but I grab this one, see what he's got on him, and then do my grisly work.
Wim, when you would search the other one, you would find that much to the same, there isn't any identifying papers or anything like that. But again, armor, the light armor, the weapons that they have on them. But this chain that you find, this is the one that was kind of severed, that was broken, has a dragon medallion on what would be the visible or the front side. And then on the back, it has a wolf's head medallion. That would have been secreted kind of like down the back of their shirt. And the last thing that both of you find, the only abnormality, is a small tin. Some people might use it for tobacco or snuff or something of that nature. But you would find in almost a gauze-like cloth 3 in Starzan and 5 in Porthos's they seem to be little packages of beggar tick.
Like bite size?
They
Like
could definitely
ghost?
fit. They could definitely fit in your mouth. Yeah.
So these, do they look like they're about the same dosage each? Like this is potentially something that they were medicinally taking?
It looks like they look identical. They, as far as the same size and weight, they look very, very similar. Their hand, you can tell that their hand like rolled, almost like thick, fat cigarettes, but they're all done basically with the same type of care, commitment to amount.
I will stow that away. I look to Wim and just, you done?
Yeah, this one had a dragon medallion tied to a wolf medallion in its back. Was anything like that?
Yeah.
And then it had some little packages of beggar tick. Shit's coming up everywhere.
I'm gonna take a moment to look at the guy, and just as he's sort of there on what is probably now slightly like perspirating shard of ice holding him up, I will kick him off onto the ground and just take the hammer that I have, the tall hammer, and I'm just gonna smash this icicle so it's not clear what happened here.
Right, nothing
We'll
says
say we-
alleyway robbery like an icicle through your chest, and then when you do
Yeah.
But no, yes,
And
you'll do it.
An icicle that requires 20 damage to break.
Well, say you can chisel away at it.
Yeah.
Not that you can't do it. It just you
Mm.
might be surprised at the amount of effort that it takes to do so.
Exactly. If it's, maintaining the fact that it's there over a long period of time, like we've already got questions and shit going down, so I cover up some of this stuff, make it look a little bit less easier, and then
Wim will look at you. Let's not leave these out here. Even though you can't recognize them. Let's either burn them or take them to Ananias.
who the fuck is Ananias?
He's a shop owner. So in his cloak. Oh fuck! I took it off. He looks around the alleyway to see if he can find.
You see,
his cloak.
I've bundled all their weapons up in it, so like it's not got 4 swords in it now, and like any knives they have, just all wrapped up in it. I think
that's
one of
my-
them had a crossbow as well, didn't they?
No, they had hand crossbows. Each of them had a hand crossbow.
Wait. What about the cloak that I bought? Is that still in the alleyway?
I believe what your brother is trying to tell you is that the cloak that you bought has been used as a bundle and is currently like
It's full of weapons.
Santa Claus sacking it.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that back.
I hand you 4 swords and a cloak. Like Aris just assumes what you mean is like you need the.
You muted yourself, Josh.
So he's going to take the package, like dump close proximity to the ground so it doesn't make a whole bunch of noise. Dump the stuff in the ground. Put the cloak on his body, kind of like size it up to see if there was any damages, and then take the weapons. He puts them under his arm, grabs one of the bodies that has the icicle still currently in it. Follow me.
I will drag the one without the head.
Tears would be floating beside you, incapable of really helping, but getting ready to you can tell that she's drifting closer to kind of rejoin with you. And Veron, this is the first time you probably have seen this like legit up close. Tears would whisper to you, I can't believe how fast you were.
I don't actually reply. Like all that joking around and sort of like the the rapport is kind of gone for a moment, and he just will walk into her space, sort of like absorbing her into himself and continuing walking, just very calm, very cold, very angry, just quietly. But he doesn't actually say anything to her.
You feel her shiver, but she goes in.
Let's go back to the shop. Is there anything we left behind here?
No. There's nothing we left behind here.
All right. Well, he'll move towards the back door of Ananias' shop.
Also, Master Adrian, Ananias would be the gentleman you need to see about that small bauble you've got yourself a hold of. And she'd follow, but she would actually know what she's going to say is, go through the front door. I'll meet you there. And she would pivot on heel and turn and teleport to the front door of Ananias's where she left Ezrin. Because Ezrin never came to show up. So she's a little concerned now.
Roll me a spell casting when you do so.
Cool.
Gotta find out what my DC was from last episode.
31.
You are on a stage. Cal Hollow is before you. Ainfra, what are you doing in my city?
I was under the impression it was my city.
Ah, King Nidamir awaits you in court. This is not court.
No, but it does seem appropriate that I get to know my city, doesn't it?
This is highly irregular, and you know it.
I know no such thing.
You, she begins to circle, are a heartbeat away from the circle, and you risk it all for what? A witcher?
I did wonder how they knew I was coming.
Not even a handsome one at that.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I see that you're kind of suffering from a little bit of that problem right now. How was it spending years with your lover, but watching him with another woman?
Roll me something.
I'm just gonna go with persuasion. Yeah, that's basically what it is, right?
Sure.
And she's technically human? Yeah, as human as I am. Crit. 28.
Roll me 1d3 plus your empathy, please.
She's not unempathetic. 10.
Okay. I will tell you two things. One, the composure that you, however well you know Cal Hollow, is cracked. She is not herself, despite her appearance being as meticulous as you would normally remember her seeing her. Her carriage, her persona is not. She is very, very upset. And so as all of this occurs, you would also notice that you are ethereal.
Why are you redirect? What you doing here? Messing with everyone.
You are to report to court.
I don't remember you having the authority to give me orders.
I don't remember you having the authority to stop me from telling on you.
Tell on me what? I followed the directions I was given.
Well, for one, you are aiding Kingslayers.
And you're messing with Levesque's notes. And illegal experimentation, I'm pretty sure.
You have no idea what you have walked into.
No, I don't. I have a lot of theories and concepts, ideas. But what I'm not 100% certain.
What is your game here? Are you a law-abiding citizen now? Are you seeking the truth? Or are you a mage? What do you wish? Power? The truth? One seems right, and one seems petty.
Well, I'm both a mage and desirous of the truth. You could have, Kel, not pissed me off. You warned them I was coming. They shot me. Now it's personal. You killed him. I could have dealt with that. It's politics between us. But then you made it personal. So, since you took from me, I shall take from you. Everything that you value. 100 years I served the Circle. I didn't complain being shunted off to Skellige for 30 years. No, I worked, kept my mouth shut, did my job. But now you took from me, so I will take it all from you.
Little girl, what do you think I was doing when you were off in dirty Skellige? I was here, working and weaving. I was here, building and planning. I was here, on the dirt that you walk, my dirt, my
Don't
city.
see your name on it, hag. Oh, right. You're not. You're just like me, a mage and a student of Aretuza. And neither of us have the right to choose our own paths. We follow the orders that were given. So, don't come to me complaining that you're sitting here and spending your eternity plotting and weaving. It's beyond that. You let them wait, because you knew I was coming.
I wanted you to see.
And so you shall see as I burn it all for you. I have a collection of heads now, Kel. 3 at last count.
And I'm the hag.
If the shoe fits, wear it.
I thought the fun part would be Ezekon. But now I know. The true fun is yet to come.
You've forgotten, Kel, up here in your lofty tower. Ezekon was a witcher. And as great a witcher as he was, and a good man, very good man. At the end of the day, he fought monsters. But I'm just like you, Kel. Beautiful on the outside, and full of chaos on the inside. Were the monsters the witchers fight? Should have remembered which of us was more dangerous. Now, if you don't mind, I have other people to be seeing.
Oh, yes. I'll let you go. I do have to embrace Ezrin. You begin to fade.
I'll see you soon, Cal.
Doubtful.
I know where he is.
She nods, and the stage is gone, and the front of Ananias' shop appears. As would Dusa, as Dusa is in this area as well, having left. And Dusa, you would be, if you roll me an awareness, Dusa, as you've gone to check on Ezrin. We'll see if you are there. You may not be.
Sorry, I may not be there?
Depends on what you've seen.
Oh. Okay, awareness. Here it is. What's that? 17.
Deuce, as you come around the corner, you're able to see the length of the main thoroughfare here that's in front of Ananias' shop. You can see that there are people that are walking, and there's a group of people that are kind of dispersing. You don't see Ezrin, though, at all. But as you're looking around on one of the lower rooftops of one of the two-story buildings similar to Ananias' shop, you see Susie Midnight. And she has a red scarf that she moves back and forth. And as your eyes catch the movement across the top of the buildings, you see little figures with a red scarf that seem to lead down towards the docks.
Right. Well, I guess Dusa will follow these figures. Yeah, I'll keep his sword wrapped for now. But he'll make haste because he feels that something is wrong.
Okay. Then in that case, Varan, when you would appear at the front of the store, without the need for a roll, you don't see Ezrin, nor do you see anybody that is a member of your party.
She curses and then just turns and slams her hand hard against the door of Ananias'. Like, half? Not intending to, like, push it open, but that kind of slam of someone who's frustrated and can't take the time to knock politely.
It would buckle in the frame, and Hawk Ananias would boom as the knock from the other side reverberates inside.
All right, I hear Ananias hears the hit up against the door, knowing it's not been that too long since that wench just left. Goes out to the door to see who's there.
It's Varan.
She's lost the cloak. Her hair is very loose and down, and she looks pissed and not hiding it.
Ananias slowly opens the door. Would you like to come in, milady?
Yes, thank you. We might need to open the back door. There are some garbage that needs to be taken out. And she just kind of strides in.
By the look on her face, Ananias knows not to question. He's seen that look on many a woman before and knows that the thing is, you don't ask questions, you just do. And he follows.
The back door opens, and there we see the brothers and the used-to-be brothers.
Hey, I don't suppose you could help us hide some bodies?
This way, come in quickly.
Oh, that was easy. And he drags him in, looks at his brother, and like,
Does Ananias recognize the face of at least the half face that remains on the one that still has his head?
Roll me a human perception. Yeah, this is your town. You recognize him, and since there are two of them, it's easier for you to pick out that you have noticed that these two, with the same profiles, haven't come in your shop, but you've seen them kind of pass by. There's been notes about these two, air quote, pretty boys that are apparently brothers and twins, not anymore, that are, walking around. And these would also be two that you had received reports were visiting the theater.
Visiting the theater. As I suspected, yes. Come this way. And I lead them to a trapdoor underneath the house that goes to a room underneath the house. Follow these steps downstairs. You'll see a grate that has a not too large wooden table sitting on it. Pull the table out of the way, open up the grate, and just toss them in there.
hey, before, I don't suppose my armor's done.
The messenger has not arrived yet, but it should be arriving soon.
Well, cancel it. I'll just take it as is.
Okay. I go to the front door to look to see if the courier that I use for such things, if I can see them in the streets at all.
As we've had time pass, and it was told that it would be a relatively quick job because the breastplate wasn't that damaged, we'll say that you've received notification that they will be arriving within the half hour.
And I relate that to my fine customer of the day so far.
Well, I appreciate that, but some things can't wait.
Understood.
I'm pretty sure it's already on its way back, is what he's saying.
Yeah. It should be here. It should be here fairly soon. Half hour at the most.
Right. Well, right. Right. This is Adrian. Adrian and Ananias. Thanks for helping us with these corpses. And then he'll take his down to the designated spot. As a businessman, maybe you could put them into pies or something. I don't know what you do.
Much better. Where you'll be tossing them is a chute that leads towards the bay. Their bodies will pop up about, say maybe a few hundred yards from the harbor, and I'm sure whatever's living in the water currently will take care of the rest.
Here we go. Whee!
As you can see, this is not something that Ananias has not had to do before.
That's good. I'm glad I was friendly to you.
That's not the first body that chute has seen. Right.
No, it isn't.
Adrian, show him the stone. I have a hag I have to deal with.
A hag, you say? Wonder if it's the same wench that I've been dealing with here.
Wench is too kind for her.
True. But perhaps you know her even better than me, so I will bow to your more informed opinion.
Know what this is? And I placed down a blue meteorite in front of him.
I haven't seen something like this in quite a while. Ananias reaches into his pocket and pulls out a different pair of spectacles. Think National Treasure with all the movable lenses and everything. As he takes a close look at it. Meteorite. Has some age to it, but not bad. Oh, of course. There are some deep magics in here. Deep magics, old magics. This is quite a find you have here.
Yeah, it cost a lot.
I can imagine. I know many would pay more than a pretty pile of gold crowns for something like this.
It's not for sale.
Nor did I assume so. Yes, there is a lot of deep magics in here. Too deep for me to be able to determine. I've only seen a sample like this once, maybe twice before.
And when was that?
And
when was that?
Let's see. The first one was 15 years ago. The other one maybe 2 or 3.
What did they have?
They had the same, they appeared to have the same kind of deep magics that this has. Unfortunately, there's only one real way to reveal it. Unfortunately, I don't have the skills for it. You're going to need a master metalsmith for this. I only know of 2 that have the skills to find out to be able to find out what's really here. One of them is an old soldier in a small town called Lilith's Luck in the Temeria area. Old soldier, good with a sword and even better with a anvil and hammer. He's good, but if you want the best is the unlikely person. He's an old dwarf. He lives in the Dragon Mountains near the Fang River, not too far from the Koverian border. If you want to find out what's in there, those are the 2 you go to. The dwarf is the better. I know the dwarf is the better of the 2, but I do not know if he even still lives after all the stuff that happened against the elves. Some of it spilled over to people like him as well.
Wonderful.
I do not know their names. Their names were not given privy to me, but their craftsman seals will tell you who they are. The old soldier, his crafter seal is a dove. The dwarf, his seal is a turtle.
Fair enough. And he takes the meteorite and it's gone.
As he turns to leave, Varan puts a hand out on his shoulder. I would not try to stop you from doing what you wish. I wish to give you more information before you do so. Hello, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is Ainfra. I am not a recent graduate of Aretusa. I've been graduate of Aretusa for about 100 years now. Calhollow is a lying, cheating bitch that I intend to stab repeatedly. I don't really care how you desire to do this or whatever you want to do. But she's here in this city and she's controlling means of transportation. And I'm pretty sure she's lured Ezrin away and is now attempting to facilitate her wiles upon him and convince him that, oh, I didn't know I was killing your son. Oh, I'm so sorry. But she does, and she has power, and I'm betting that she's the one who made the two late gentlemen that you and your brother removed the apparent self. And relatively soon, based on certain things I know.
Was Wim privy to this, or was this Eris?
No, she was very loud about it. Everyone who was in this space, she said that too. But she's not. She's saying this to not stop Eris from going, but give him information if he chooses to, that might change his mind.
Huh.
And I'm fully prepared to freeze her heart and then crush it under my heel.
She's stopping you from moving about the city.
Limiting it, yes.
So you're telling me you can't get me north to the Dragon Mountains to see this dwarf?
I probably can, actually. She doesn't want me here. She's a little pissed that I'm here. Also, she's a... But I don't think it'll be safe. I can't guarantee the safety of it. And, she reaches in, finds the ice cube head, puts it back, finds the other head and goes, this particular gentleman is what happens when you mess up with a portal and it closes on you. And since I don't desire any of Ezekon's chosen to go that way, I'm hesitant to do such at the moment.
So she's the price?
Not price per se, but impediment to the door. As you know, doors have locks. She's just the extra bolt on this one.
Well,
your choice on how you choose to go about, sir. I'm not taking any choice from you.
fair enough. Wim?
I'm just waiting for my armor.
And on cue, the front bell would ring as somebody would come in, bearing the breastplate of the School of the Bear. And that is where we are going to take our break as we jump off to do hydrate, bio, all that great stuff, which we suggest you do as well, Legion. We'll be back in 5 minutes, where we will pick up with Dusa as Dusa gets to the docks. Everybody else, get ready, because this is the penultimate episode of our Season 1. Next week is the finale, and it begins as soon as we come back from the break. So let's see what we have here. Be back in just a few, Legion. Well, hello, everybody, and we are back with our second half of our Witcher family of Wraiths as we get back into... Let's go with this music. Because we are down at the docks. At this point, the party is split pretty evenly as we have Varan, the recently revealed Ainfra. We have the brothers, Wim and Eris, at Ananias' shop. And down near or around or at the docks, we have Ezrin, Dusa on the way, and new arrival Yannicka on a boat. And so it is in this area, as the sun slips down, casting the shadows, entering night here in the city of Hangsfor, we begin the final act of this season. And so we will start with our latest player. As Dusa makes his way down, Yannicka, you have a moment as you see this person arrive on the dock proper.
Yeah, and with my awareness, I could tell that not only was he maybe a minstrel of some sort, but had a noble bearing about him. Can I tell he's human?
With your earlier awareness, yeah. Okay. You're pretty sure.
Yeah, all right. She'll just make assumptions then, because that's pretty common in this land. She'll chuck another thing of beggar tick just to give her a minute of time to send the drowners back out for a second and yell, "Human! Yeah, do you know she pulls out paper from her pouch, Ezekon of Kreve?"
So he's also looking confused because he went to go through and he wanted to know where Kel Hello went because she's not here. So that's a little weird. So he's like, I don't know, like maybe he's a little confused as to what's going on. Anyway, Why dost thou ask for Ezekon of Kreve?
So you know him. Them.
Is he a compatriot of thine?
No, I just found his name on this list of docking manifest.
Might I have permission to board thy vessel?
If you know of him, yes. There's a lot of drowners. 1 second. I just chuck another thing of beggar tick out.
So what is this drowner situation? Because I feel like there's like a part of the story that I'm missing besides I'm on a dock.
Roll awareness.
Yeah. You're welcome. I told you about the drowners.
I feel like there's like part of the story, you know, somebody's bearing the lead. You're a dock. There's an elf. It's nice. And also 18.
It takes you a moment, but as you look around, you realize that the water around this boat is churning. You, of course, would have known of drowners even back before your transformation. They are... The erroneous kind of folklore about them is that they were drowned sailors who have been brought back as undead or undead-like. You're not sure if the stories and the education that you've received means the same thing, as that's how they're really created. You were under the impression, we've had this in an earlier discussion, that the creatures that have manifested or that have come from the Convergence, they all came from another place. They weren't something that is made or perpetuated here. So, you know, you remember the story, and also that the story's probably not right, but stories and tales are only a little bit when surrounded by the actual fact of what look like full-grown piranhas with arms and legs that are going after beggar tick.
But they're in the water, not on the dock.
They're not currently on the dock, no.
Great. In my stories, do they walk on land?
Yes.
Or do they just... Oh, I see. I'm just curious about, like, and when you say, like, there are drowners in the water, do you mean, like, 3? Or do you mean, like, 100?
You had an 18 awareness, so I'll tell you that there's more than 3.
Uh-huh. I thought that might be the case. Is there, like, a gangplank to this ship?
There has not been a gangplank established. It's been tied off to the dock. It's not like a huge gap, though. It's a low-drafted river vessel. You can jump it. If you slip and fall, don't worry. There's water beneath you to catch you, so you won't get hurt.
Water without drowners? Is like that one area the one without the drowners in it? Like that?
You
am
rolled
keeping-
an 18 awareness. There's water beneath you.
There's a lot going on, but I approach Yannika's boat, and I say, well, let me put the gangplank up, then, and I'm going to sort of untie the plank so I can.
I don't think you have time. I chuck another thing of beggar tick.
Wherefore not? I say as I'm.
They're drowners. They have the intelligence of dogs. They'll realize I'm just throwing beggar tick when there's something hot and fresh nearby.
Then I should work
Jump.
faster.
And I'll just hold out like my hand, like this stupid human. Just like I'm giving you a very condescending look right now.
It's only like 3 feet.
Then I shall jump.
And she'll even like hold her hand out, rolling her eyes a bit.
Just roll me an easy athletics.
Where is my athletics? Dexterity.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks at it and he's like, he looks very hesitant about this one.
You got it.
He's like, well, and he concentrates very hard, and backs up a little bit, and then he makes a running leap.
I really hope you're useful.
And we have no bonuses to our rolls, right? None?
No, just athletic. It's an easy jump.
Is it?
It really is.
Interesting. Yeah, okay, at 12?
I'd like an athletics roll from
That's what I
Yannika?
thought. I'm just
Sure. Yeah, I have a great dex. A basic roll. Okay. 8.
So I just want to point out that I was not the ridiculous one here. That's all.
Okay,
Wow.
so
And I
let's.
can't spend luck after the fact, can I?
Hell no.
I didn't think so.
So let's cut to Dusa.
Uh-huh.
Because
Do not
Look,
want me to roll
I had to
dex
pick
rolls.
something for a dump stat. God, I rolled a 2.
Dusa, the loyal Sir Dusa, who is looking for recently pledged liege lord. Dusa, roll me an awareness as you begin to follow the trail of ribbons that the street urchins are putting up for you. Kind of hailing and well met as you go down in the new night. Nice.
That's good.
I knew I should have put that gangplank up.
Yeah,
Dusa, as you go down,
drowners.
Dusa, as you go down with a 25, you are maybe 2 blocks from the dock. Now, this is a riverside dock. This is a dock that could easily, I mean, it has the same smells as an ocean dock with, you know, with fish and just the naval trade. However, you smell an overwhelming stench of beggar tick. Just, a ridiculous amount, almost eye-watering for you, because you have perhaps been the most finely tuned to the beggar tick. It's almost an assault.
Like every other time, he's going to try to find where he's coming from.
Straight ahead. Because you're walking down the docks to the river, the wind is coming off the water up into the city, and you can feel it in the air, much like smoke out of a campfire. It's almost that obnoxious as it hits you. It's definitely coming from the docks, and it's getting stronger and stronger. And for a witcher of your caliber, again, someone that is finely tuned to this particular smell, this is very much like walking into smoke, walking into a burning building, sticking your head into a campfire. It's very powerful.
Oh, I'll hold his hand up to his nose to try to dampen it. And we'll head down at a brisk pace.
With your critical awareness, in addition to smelling beggar tick that is eye-watering, I leave this sight to you, and I will describe it merely in fact and not in anything other than... I'm not going to try to guess how Dusa would react to it. But you see dangling off the side of a boat, Ezrin. You see someone that you do not recognize, but with a critical awareness, even in the dying light in the eyes of a witcher, you note to have elven features, holding on for dear life, legs propped up along the railing, almost a last like finger on finger grasp, as Ezrin is pinwheeling and trying to find purchase. And even from this position, again with a crit, you're a witcher, you smell beggar tick, you see Ezrin above water, and you see that the water is filled with drowners. That's the facts, JF. What does Dusa do? Because I don't know.
So he's
We lost you.
He's hanging from a boat?
These are the facts. He's hanging off a boat, being held by someone you don't know over water filled with drowners.
Wow.
Oh, you keep muting out on us, JF.
Oh my god. Oh, I just said such words.
Just for the go back again.
He just shakes his head and thinking about how the father is just like the son, and he'll try to head over on the boat so he can grab Ezrin.
Okay, roll me in athletics, and this is just to get over there in a speedy time.
Okay. Athletics. Yes. Under dexterity, it's kind of a hard one to find when you're used to D&D. 17.
Let's bring Ezrin and Yannicka back into the visual here as the camera pulls from this wide shot of the docks as
You're heavier than you look.
It went close into Dusa and then wide out as Dusa runs across the docks, gets over into the slip where the boat is, and then zooms back into that area. As Dusa, you are able to grab the back of Ezrin and kind of hoist up into the boat or back onto the dock. I leave that up to you, but you're able to get there just as the drowners are reaching up for a fine boot.
Add to that a limp the whole time and trying to pull him up with a bad leg. He just looks at Ezrin and says, "You're just as bad as he was."
This maiden here moved her hand at the last moment. So Trinian, this is...
Stick together, it's dangerous.
Aye, but this is... I know not her name, but this is her boat, and she
Sure.
knows something of Ezekon of Kreve.
Milady, thank you for saving this one.
She looks slightly weirded out that y'all keep referring to her as my lady, but she doesn't say anything about it.
What should I call you then? With your weirded out expression, it's like, well, what do you want me to call you then?
It's fine. I just don't get that respect terribly often. Name is Yannicka.
Nice to meet you, Lady Yannicka.
And Ezrin bows. I am Eric the Bard.
Knew it. You're a witcher.
I am not. I'm a bard.
No, you.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know what you are. I can see it from halfway across the docks.
So it's This is a pretty smelly boat you've got.
Yeah, I found a bunch of beggar tech in a secret compartment, and a manifest that says Ezekon of Kreve. You know him?
Yeah.
Milady,
Manifest.
methinks this is not thy boat.
How did you know?
Well, because What? How comest thou to this boat?
Well, I was walking along, and there was a boat, and they picked me up.
Who's they?
The people who were on this boat, refugees from Oxenfurt.
I see. Do you have the manifest? May I see it?
I'm gonna do a human perception on Dusa. I don't know if he's with this Ezekon of Kreve or if he's not. He's one of these beggar tick
He doesn't look
chugging witchers.
You don't know.
Every time
I don't know.
Every time you say Jeffers, his jaw clenches.
His
So
eye twitches.
his eye twitches. So he doesn't look like he's.
She's not incredibly social. So.
Okay, so here's how I thought we would do these roll-offs between PCs that we seem to do a lot. As you roll human perception, if the player would like to roll against that with either persuasion or something to camouflage it, or if you want to, you can tell one fact that's truthful about your expression, which the clenching jaw would definitely be.
Art thou an ally of this Ezekon of Kreve?
No, I'm not. And I'll see the jaw clench and I'll hand over the manifest or the paper that I ripped out, and then the rest of it's around here somewhere. Pick it up off the dock or off the boat.
Mistress Yannicka, if thou wouldst, we have business with this Ezekon of Kreve. We search the villain. We search for the villain. Couldst thou explain? Thou wert in Oxenfurt, and what is with the refugees? There are great mysteries abound, and
not terribly. Oxenfurt, not fond of non-humans. They left in the company of another witcher, going toward the Blue Mountains.
Medusa wants to take a look around just to see if this is a safe place to talk.
Are you talking on the docks or are you on the boat?
On the boat.
On the boat.
For me, at least. I'm on a boat.
With drowners.
Yeah, I'll say that between the three of you, you all make it onto the boat safely. And if you want to check the surrounding area, Dusa, you may do so with like an awareness. If you're kind of like spotting land or... Looks clear. There's still people moving around. You can see the harbor master come out of like the office that's kind of set off against the docks. But you don't see anybody that strikes you as observing you all in particular.
Okay, and about that manifest, whose name is on it? What's the besides Jeffers? Is there the name of the owner of the boat or what?
Any information that would be part of a registry is not there. This is simply almost like a diary of transport, and the vast majority of it is between Novigrad and Oxenfurt. Novigrad and Oxenfurt. And the name of the boat is the Student Sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
Mistress Yannicka, wert thou picked up in Oxenfurt by this boat?
No, I was on the riverbank, not terribly far from here. I was headed this way. They offered me a ride.
And what happened to those who were upon this boat?
As that question hangs in the air, with a 21 awareness, Dusa, it's at this point provided. Are certain items, are all of your possessions on your possession, Lindy?
Yes.
Okay. It's
Are all of my possessions on her possession as
Yeah.
well? Like, I just want to know.
Yes. I have to check. Then if all of your belongings are with you, Dusa,
Yeah.
you would notice a very familiar bag and a very familiar bow on the back and the hip of this particular person. These are the items that would not budge from Ezrin's estate, the one where you all got the stones and the sword and the staff.
Noticing this, Dusa will look at them pointedly. Look at Ezrin.
What is it?
He'll nod towards the bow. Is that from your home?
No, you can't have it.
I kneel immediately before her. Mistress. Or milady? It is an honor. And then he stands again.
She just looks confused. All right. Sure. You don't meet an elf every day. I get it. It's fine.
No. That thou carriest those two items says that you are dear to my son.
Your son?
Ezekon of Kreve.
Yes. He was one of my friends, and he owed me a considerable debt.
Pray tell, what debt did my son owe?
The life of my sister.
He took your sister's life?
In a manner of speaking. He claimed responsibility for it. Now he's dead.
Man, what do you know about that?
I got a letter saying he found the people responsible to a degree. And then I got another letter as I was preparing to meet him that he was dead.
The people responsible for your sister's death.
He was investigating them. Witchers, other witchers. She kind of glances slightly suspiciously at Dusa, but...
Dusa will point at the manifest and say, this is the guy you're looking for. Likes beggar tick.
Yes, they do. I'm working on a... Do you know blade oils? Working on an antidote, so to speak, to combat them better. For the beggar tick, you know what they use it for, right?
No.
How long have you been looking for these people?
Myself, but a few days.
Forgivable, I guess. Beggar tick has a few medicinal uses. The quantities they're imbibing suggests that they're using it in a fashion similar to some people would use fizz tech. Dull pain, clear the mind, sharpen reflexes, all sorts of things. I've been working on a solution to dispel this, but I haven't been able to get it to stick to a blade. Ezekon was not an alchemist.
I have newly learned that perchance Beggartit could be used to drive away monstrosities. If one were cursed with monstrousness, that might clear it, or if one were...
That is pretty pungent. Drowners are just stupid.
So,
And perhaps if we have the opportunity, I could try to help you with this alchemy. Have some skills.
Yes.
I was newly at an alchemist shop with an alchemist of fine and rare skill. Perchance this man may also be of aid.
And the other fact is that all this beggar tick we're sitting on in this boat, that's something they're gonna want.
Why do you think I was throwing it overboard? And there's like just a bunch of little bobbing and torn open packages of beggar tick in the river.
It looks like someone overfed a fish tank.
I thought about setting it all on fire, but drowners.
Well, maybe we could use it to lure them. Since
There's a lot of it left.
Trinian, there's much to share, but Mistress Yannicka, we have been for some time looking for those who... There is a villain, a scurrilous knave about these parts, some magic user, controlling monsters and engaging in villainy. My son was looking for that villain, and I think that each person that my son gave a gift to has a piece of the puzzle, which would make thou a holder of one of these pieces. Wouldst thou aid us in some way with thy knowledge, skill?
We share the same purpose.
She kind of scrutinizes the two of you. He had a knee injury too. Who did you let touch it? That's awful work.
You talking about my leg?
Yeah.
Yes, I need to find another doctor.
Sit down.
I'll sit down on the barrel.
She'll start pulling off some bandages and open up a little bag she has with her and give his leg a good thorough examination.
Well, then roll me some healing hands.
I would love to. You know what? Just because I can, I'm gonna spend a point of luck.
Since we started.
21. I only rolled a 2.
Dusa, moments after Yannicka begins to like manipulate the joint, work the knee, begin to kind of, you can tell one that her touch is a lot more practiced than Simon's, where he grabbed and kind of jerked you around and muscled you into the way that this is the hands of a craftsperson. This is an artist. And you immediately begin to feel as if whatever had been out of whack, pulled, isn't necessarily solid whole or instantly healed, but it is put right. And at this point, my friend, whatever reduction you have for your knee is gone.
Oh.
It's a start, but you'll need more work on it later.
Oh, thank you. He puts his hand on your shoulder and looks at you in the eye. He says, I will crush his skull for you.
Thank you. Then I shall accompany. There's a debt that needs to be paid.
I look for the gangplank on this boat. On this one. On this side, the gangplank on this one. Not on the dock, but over here.
On the opposite side, you're on the last slip, so
No, on the boat, because presumably the boat has a gangplank.
yeah, you have one.
Yeah, I put that on the dock so that we can walk off the boat and not jump off the boat.
Okay, so as you're preparing
Seemed
your
like
escape,
such an easy 3-foot jump.
You know,
It looked good.
everybody, hey, Dumpstat friend, you and I together, high five. Like,
Okay, so as this is all being prepared, as pledges are being made, and a knee is set right, as Dusa of Gamera is whole again. Let's cut back to the shop of, just outside the shop of Ananias, as we have Varan, Ainfra, Wynn, Eris. What do you do?
I will help Wim get into his armor.
Thanks. Watch that buckle. Ah, you got me fat. Fuck. Hold on. Let me squeeze. Oh, try to get right now. Yeah. Okay.
You
Thanks.
watch as like Aris will like take like one part of the buckle in one hand, one part of the buckle in the other hand, and just jump up and just slam his knee into the middle, and then like pull with all his weight.
Oh. Oh.
It's like a corset. I love it.
Yeah. And I finish sort of buckling it up, pat him on the back, and
Hey, I got any fat sticking out the back? I'm good in the front.
look, maybe next time you get your ass handed to you in an alleyway, I'll let him cut a little bit more off you. You might actually fit in the fucking armor.
Hey,
As for
asshole.
you,
I asked for your help, not your feedback.
yeah. Well, let's just say you've had enough feed for a good long while. So, look, Varen, aim for whatever you want to go by, whatever your secrets are. I have to go north. If he can't fix this, then I need someone who can, and if that's some dwarf in the Dragon Mountains, then that's fine. So, if it's going to cost me her life for you to get me there, then that's the deal.
And she looks you dead in the eye, and anyone paying attention would notice that there's something different about her. She's standing straighter, her posture isn't as restrained, she isn't pretending to be 30, and she looks, although physically the same, like there's something in her eyes that looks much older. Plan yourself. We'll go north, and we'll kill her together. And then, after I've crushed her heart beneath my heel, and burned and thrown her ashes to the drowners in the river, I'll teleport you directly to this dwarf. Well, I can't guarantee directly to the dwarf because I've never been there, per se.
No, you can't. We don't know if he's alive, but the deal is the deal.
The deal is the deal. And we have enough of a description that I can get within about 5-10 miles, depending on how things go.
Just one thing. This sounds personal.
Ezekon was your friend, right?
Yeah.
Ezekon was a whole lot more to me for 70 years. And she waited to make sure I was there before she let him die. So, it's very personal right now.
Wim looks over at Eris. What's that put his count at this point?
Only one. Only ever one. By the way, if you happen to take Jeffers' head from his shoulders, he's carrying a ring that I want back.
Okay. That's a lot.
You're being awful honest. So allow me to return you the favor.
Fair.
I'll help you kill her. But if you think she's there, if I have a blade in my hands, then I'm gonna let you draw this out into some big, fanatical, angry display of vengeance. Then hire someone else.
No.
If you want her dead, then dead she will be.
I thank you for that, Eris.
Right.
I respect your professionalism. I can crush her heart after she's dead. And I did travel with Ezekon enough to know that you don't celebrate the death until after you've burned the body.
And Wim is over in the corner and he puts his fist in the center. And my knuckles!
Thank you, Wim. I do appreciate that. She has at least Jeffers and at least one other of these fake witchers that she's been making. And I can tell you that they weren't turned or made the way you were.
Are you versed in weeds and plants?
Yes.
What use would you think one would have for these? And he takes out the tin for the little consumable things of beggar tick and the tightly bundled things. That looks like something maybe you just chew.
What do I know about consumable beggar tick beyond?
Give me...
I mean, magical training? Because it's affecting using potions.
It's not magical, though, in effect. First aid, maybe?
First aid or alchemy?
I'll take alchemy, too. Alchemy, they'll give you different answers. How's that?
Let's go with alchemy. At the moment. I'm gonna put 5 luck into this.
Sure.
Fumble.
It's difficult to tell, but
I know nothing.
Yeah, it's beggar tick. It's what the witchers have deduced as well. It looks to be, it's a packet sized. I'll give you this much. Beggar tick in and of itself is used in very small quantities. To give you a modern example, if someone would take 2 Tylenol or 2 aspirin for a headache, this would be the equivalent of like half a bottle. And you would also know that beggar tick in larger quantities can cause like cardiac arrest. It's not necessarily because it's like the drug does it. It's just that whenever the pain kind of numbs you to the point where you have organ failure. It's that potent in large quantities. This is too much. You're looking at too much right now.
All I can tell you is the person who's taken that has probably done something to themselves where it should kill them. It should kill them. And that it's not tells me something else. I can't tell you what she's using it for. I can't tell how it's working.
These were the bodies of the twins. So they were using them. And if they were using them up until combat, then it was doing them a might bit of good.
Until it wasn't.
Right.
Does it look like Wim's about to ingest any of this?
He's putting it on display for you.
Okay. I can also say that they're probably not as much like you as they pretended to be.
I figured that because there's no dragon school. And they had dragon medallions.
We don't know that.
If she's making them, I can tell you that. Because she doesn't have a complete recipe.
Dragons are fucking scary. Why couldn't they pick the fucking goat?
I thought the point of the medallions was to be intimidated.
To resemble the tactics in the persona that the medallion symbolizes, but fucking those two pricks weren't dragons.
No.
They were fucking thugs.
Very much so.
No, they had pretty high opinions of themselves. Legends say dragons were kind of the same. Anyway.
Well, she's taken Ezrin.
She what?
Where?
There are two options. One, the boat at the docks that she holds court in the evening. Or two, the theater that she's holed up in most days. My bet is the...
Twice.
Yeah. My bet is the docks.
To the docks we go.
I mean, I could be more specific on that.
Wait just 1 second. And we'll go over. And I want to check the swords that we took off them. What are they like? Are they decent?
High quality, but very, very new.
Check their balance, everything. Remember that my weapons are currently in my room, and I'll hand one to Wim. It'll do.
Don't stick it unscabbarded in like a belt.
I will chuck one over my shoulder, a silver one to boot, and then, right, well, let's go do this then.
You all quickly arrive at the docks. It takes just a few minutes of walking through the quieting city.
We're on our way to the alchemists.
Well, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
You all made a decision, and then we cut away. So I need an awareness roll from the three that are heading to the docks. So the Witcher and the Witchers and the Mage, please.
18.
21.
Okay. So everyone, as you walk down into the docks, you identify immediately a ship or a boat set off by itself, 2 slips between it and its nearest nautical neighbor. And as you walk down, you would see on the deck of this, shallow drafted boat, both Dusa and Ezrin standing beside someone that neither of you, or all the three of you, none of you have met. Also, as you walk down, you would notice that night has fallen completely here in the city of Hangsfor, and back up the way that you have come, there is a flicker of lights as you see they're not searchlights, they're not, they don't need to have that type of landing craft that you would have at an ocean with a full lighthouse, but there are several sort of elements of that. So if somebody were traveling from farther in the river up, they wouldn't pass by the city at night, but you see these large globes begin to light and glow in the depths of the city, kind of coming towards the docks. The three of you that have just arrived, what do you do?
How far from us is Ezrin?
They're all together on the boat, and so they would all be about 100 yards.
Okay. Yeah, she continues to walk forward again, but her carriage has changed, her person has changed. Ezrin would probably know that she walks like she expects everyone to get out of her way, but she doesn't treat the Witchers like that. It's almost like she expects the Witchers to walk at her shoulder. And Eris and Wim might notice that she has this hesitant moment where she kind of side glances, expecting someone to be there, and they're not. And she walks forward. But she keeps eye contact on Ezrin until she's within range and uses telepathy to say, "Your ex-girlfriend is going to die by my hand."
The fuck?
That, I mean, she has some issues that she's working through.
I don't think she's ever done that before, though, so that was new.
First off, as a GM, I have to interject here. I love the entire setup, everybody. Prax, everything's regal, walking by my side. I should be leading. But then the internal is, I'm going to fucking kill your ex-girlfriend. That's the greatest. That's the best. So back to the scene.
And Ezrin just looks at Yannicka and Dusa to see if they heard what he just heard.
And look at you. Look at where you're looking.
Did you hear something? You heard it too?
I did.
What?
Whose voice did thou hear?
Whose voice did you hear?
What voice?
Trinian, we both heard a voice in our ears. Mine, I think 'twas... I think 'twas Varan.
Oh, did you see her coming?
If you look up right about here, I'm talking to you. I can still talk to you. And her face isn't moving, but she's just casting telepathy at you.
But you all are closing the gap. You're walking towards the boat, right? Okay, I just want to...
Unless the other two do something else.
I wave towards them all. So I say very quietly, as an experiment, but you two, Yannicka and Dusa, could clearly hear what I say. Say, canst thou hear me, Mistress Varan?
I would never talk back to the voices. It only encourages them.
Yeah. Hold on. That's a DM ruling. Can he, because he's not spellcasting, I am. Can he respond? Okay. Yes.
It's only more fun if you can respond, so.
It's only more fun if you can. Yes, that's what telepathy does. It means I can talk to you.
And now, with my mouth closed, I think. But canst thou hear me now?
Yes, because I'm the one maintaining the spell.
This is all going on, and you two are about 10 feet apart at this point, as you have closed the gap.
Is there a gap still between the...
It's like a walkie-talkie thing.
We put the gangplank down, so you don't have to jump across if you have a 4 dexterity, for example.
Yes.
Just like randomly, as an example.
Or a 6.
Or hypothetically.
Josh, yes, there is a plank there for you to be able to take the boat if you'd like.
Thank God, because Greg, like, I'm in their boat. I have no decks at all. It's my jump stat too.
Don't say stuff like that.
So I have no idea that there's a conversation going on. I look over towards Ezra and just say, "Where is she?"
Do you speak of Kel Hello?
Yeah.
I have news.
Do you still carry her token?
Do I? That was a long time ago.
We used it to send it with the letter.
Did. We used it to send it with the letter.
The letter came back. The letter response came back, and I believe the token came back. The token did not come back.
Okay.
Just the letter, yeah.
I have news. Also, gentles, this is Mistress Yannicka, who was acquainted with Ezekon. And I point to the bag.
Got the magic hands.
Doctor. Thank you.
Don't call me that.
Healer? I mean,
Healer.
she's answering in elder speech, so whatever the appropriate term would be in elder speech.
Yeah, she would much prefer healer over doctor.
Okay. Healer.
We have
Yes.
much to discuss. I have news. I spoke with Kelhello. I have news.
Got news too. So, you want to go first, or do you want to say who can yell it the loudest?
Perchance we should not speak here. And he sort of gestures his head to a choppy sea full of drowners.
I imagine, like, I just look down, like, they're not listening. Like,
Ezrin, are we concerned about the drowners?
I thought we agreed we were going to wait to talk to her.
She came out of Ananias' shop.
No, she didn't. She was on a roof, allowing a standing portal that was about to let two pretend witchers escape those who did kill your son.
No, she was with me at the time.
Are you
That
sure?
must have-
Did you
Yes.
touch her?
No, that would not have been proper in public.
Did she take anything of yours?
No.
Did she ever at any point make physical contact with anything in your person?
No.
Then she wasn't there.
Is this the sorceress bitch who dumped you off at the drowner-infested docks?
And that Ainfra turns and looks at Yannicka and goes, see? And she goes, I like you, thank you. That's a lot shorter.
I mean, there was a woman and then she evaporated and then you came through and you were very confused. And then I yelled at you.
I still still.
If she dropped you here, then there was an intent for her.
Mm-hmm.
Was your hair?
Probably death.
Mm-hmm.
But I spoke with her. I have information.
You go first, and then we'll tell you our information after, because what we tell you will immediately end anything that you're thinking you might have.
All right. Well, pardon me, Mistress Yannick, this is some news you may not have all the background for, but we have been seeking out a sorceress who is known to me from my past, and
Yeah, about that. You're human, yet you are Ezekon's father?
oh,
What are you?
complicated, he says in elder speech, and then looks back to Ezrin like, let's do this.
Kelhello said that she had been searching for some means to break the curse that was on Ezekon, and that she had been searching for some time to aid him, and that he was under some sort of progressive curse, not unlike perchance the things that have been ailing the monsters in the area, and that she had been seeking some way to break this curse upon him, but was not able to do so. She seemed very distraught. She said she signed his death warrant because he was no longer the man he was, that he had only perchance brief moments of lucidity because of this beggar tick, and that it was beggar tick that he used to drive me off from him that fateful day. I think she has been deceived by this sorcerer who is the knave that is controlling these monsters. She's think with a bit more convincing, we can get her on our side to help aid us against the man who is doing this.
Zeus is going to reach into his pocket, something he's been holding on to for a while. He'll pull out a sheet of parchment. You recognize it from that place by the road where Shilalin was hung. You recognize it as the writ. And he shows it to you and he says, "What about this?
She was deceived.
Should talk about that."
We had no time.
I hate to bear the bearer of sad tidings, Ezrin. If that woman couldn't dispel the curse, it's because she didn't want to.
She tried.
You mean she says she tried?
But I looked her in her eyes. I could tell she was speaking truth.
But I'm not sure you know when a woman's lying to you, Ezrin.
Good mistress.
Mostly because I've been lying to you since we've met. And you couldn't even say all that.
What does that mean?
My name isn't Varan. And I'm not a child graduate of Aretusa.
What is this?
My name is Ainfra. And where Adalbert was your son, Ezekon was mine, and I was his. So trust me when I tell you, that woman knew what she was doing and made sure to do it in a way that would cause the most harm. Now, and she turns to look at Yannicka. Do you know what boat she dumped him on? Because I'm pretty sure that's where she'll be.
Just the dock's right over there. Where the drowners were before I started distracting them.
Oh, very effective. I usually just, freeze the water, and they don't like that.
And she's once you've said your name, she's looking at you very scrutinizingly.
I don't recall meeting.
No, but I've heard about you.
Good things, I hope.
Things.
And you just see her face kind of going back through the last 100 years of
things.
I will take a moment and lean out and tap Deuce's leg brace.
Yeah, Deuce will look at you. He'll kind of whisper and say, "I wonder how many more of Ezekon's women we're gonna meet."
There is only ever one. Yes, the one that what you're thinking?
Nothing.
That was the human perception on Varan, by the way. Because he checked out, he checked out Kel. He needs to check out Varan or Ainfra to find out whether or not what she's saying is true.
Blinded by love.
She is not lying to you in any way. At all.
So don't check out your daughter-in-law, dude. Have some...
I'm not
grace.
checking her out. I'm trying to perceive her in a human way.
Anyway, I tap Deuce's leg brace, and hear his response.
It's not done yet.
Just shake. What's not done yet?
I just point to the leg.
I looked
Needs
at him
more work.
surprised. Like, you good?
Yeah. Thanks to her.
That isn't where I was going with this at all, but appreciate it. You mentioned it came up a while back about that being his, right?
About what?
That belonged to the leg brace. That was his.
Yeah, it was his.
And then miraculously it got better. Didn't need it in the losing days.
Oh, I fixed it for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You fixed Ezekon's leg.
Oh, I adjusted the brace a while back. I hadn't seen him in a couple years. So unless something very recent happened, just needed some adjustments.
Or he was medicating the pain.
Mr. Sainfra, I'm sorry. When we did first meet, or not at first, but early on, I did ask thee if thou knewest Kelhello, and thou did say no.
Ron didn't.
Thou dost know her.
I didn't go to school with her. I am younger than she is. We know each other in a professional capacity.
Why did you keep everything a secret up until now?
Officially, Ainfra isn't here. Varan's doing business for the Circle. She's supposed to be helping facilitate a safe haven.
You mean officially between wizards?
Yes. I solve problems. That's what I've done. That's how we met.
What Kelhello dost thou know? What is the nature of the lady that you are acquainted with?
And she smiles slightly. It's this kind of soft smile, and it doesn't quite meet her eyes. And she looks at you and says, "Do you want me to shatter your illusions even more? Or leave you with memories? Because in the end, the memories are all that's left. I can tell you right now that she intends to kill us all. Well, that's not true. She intends to kill me and Wim and Dusa and Aris. And unfortunately, probably Yannicka, because, well, she has political disagreements with you. You, she might keep alive for a while. It might serve her purpose. You are a noble of a house that could be restored and further her aims.
Is it fair to say we're at a disadvantage against two mages?
One mage. Well, as far as I'm aware. She doesn't usually... And she stops and kind of looks back and rolls back into her head. Ainfra doesn't know of Kelhello ever actually working with other mages in a friendly capacity, correct?
Roll me. Well, let's do education then, since that's where either education or...
Can I roll to see if I knew anyone that she knew back in the day?
Or, magical training, because it's about being trained in magic?
Yeah. I'll do magical training on this one.
$19.
Can I do education? Would that be for...
Yeah, see if you can
back in the
remember.
day memory?
Sure.
Because we went to Oxenford together, and I knew her back in the day. Maybe she had a friend?
Maybe.
I don't know. She might have had friends back then. 23. She was friendly at one point in time.
Ezrin, you don't remember the names of any friends or the intimation that there was anything intimate or friendly about anybody that might be of the magical bent. Ainfra, you remember that there was a time when she was stationed in Redania, and this was before, obviously, the troubles that arrived with Radovid. She was stationed there, and it was at a time when there were shared mages in a court. And it was her and a mage. But you can't remember his name.
But I remember it's a him, right?
You remember it's a him.
Okay, good. That rules out Philippa. There are some things I, as a player, would rather not deal with. Pissed off Philippa is one of them.
Right, right. It's at this point I would like everybody except for Eris and Wim to roll me awareness, please.
Oh boy. Oh no.
At this point, also, Yannicka has walked over to Wim and stuck a finger in a nice bloody patch of his like shirt or something. Does this hurt?
Is this
Oh, woman.
physical awareness or magical awareness?
Physical.
Okay.
21.
I got 20.
23.
Almost as one, your eyes leave the deck of this boat. And I don't want to take agency away from those that have already figured this out, but Wim and Eris would already be looking, I'm assuming, toward the city proper. Unless you...
Not making it super obvious, but yeah, in that
Right,
kind
right.
of direction.
There's an awareness that the brothers have already, you know, that you all would probably recognize, whether or not anybody gleaning that from them. There are silhouettes of figures over all of the nearby rooftops. At least a dozen that you can see.
These street kids?
They're larger silhouettes than street kids. And in nearly the same spot, Yannicka, that you saw the original portal spin and open that spat up Ezrin, you see it spin and open and stay open. And all of you rolled awareness that's well enough that you can see just beyond this portal, almost encompassing the oval entirely, is a stone from a place of power. Eris, you would hear, "That's it. That's my stone." And wisps of tears would start to come out. And that's where we're going to end this session of the Witcher Family of Wraiths. Yay! And everybody, Hawks. I'm going to try something here in a second, but everybody, let's go around and talk to this wonderful, fantastic cast. Let's start with Prax. Prax, how are you doing?
I'm feeling a lot better. She got to vent a lot of her emotions. Full disclosure, that's been something that's been true since the beginning. Yeah, Ainfra's had been emotionally compromised for a bit and not been allowed to deal with it. So yay, fun, death, dismemberment, and she has a very nice Viper Witcher who's agreed to help her kill somebody. So she's okay. It's not done yet, but feeling more positive about it. But as for me, hey y'all, you know me. I'm at Dirgedon on Twitter, or Proxgorth as Euphoria, as you see me hanging out around Twitch. And you can find me tomorrow on my channel as we continue our look at Roman history as seen through the eyes of William Shakespeare. We are going to be doing Julius Caesar. It's 11 o'clock in Eastern time. Come hang out. They're always great. They're mostly almost all cold readings of these, and sometimes they cause interesting experiences. Sorry, Lindy. And we'll be doing that tomorrow and Friday. Friday we're going to finish with Antony and Cleopatra. And then on Friday evening, you can find me over on Wandering DM's channel for some Cyberpunk Red. And then on Saturday, you can find me on Wandering DM for some the finale of Vampire the Masquerade Nightfall, as New York has become a very interesting place, and apparently the Tremere are going to be causing some problems. Tremere, what do you expect?
It always happens in any good vampire story. Fantastic, my friend. Let's drop down to Billy. Billy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. This game's always so much fun. Everybody is top tier, awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna second practice stuff. The readings that she's been doing on at 11 on her channel have been super awesome. If not only to partake as a reader, and someone like just performing, it's awesome and sparked so many things in my head for creating backstories for future characters and everything like that, because you have to steal or tie in from some of the greats. So, you know, all the stories are done, you just do them again. So picking and choosing what elements of it's just super great. And yesterday I got sugar plum stoned and read Phaedra on her channel, and I had the time of my life. So
it was great. It was absolutely perfect. Theseus ripping his son a new one because his wife has convinced him that there's drama. There's all the drama. You can go see the VOD. It was fabulous, and I loved every minute of it.
It was a hoot. And then if you like what I do, tune in again next week. I'm also doing a Simba Room game, Eyes in the Dark, on WebDM on Tuesdays at 7:30 Eastern, which is a hell of a lot of fun. I get to do that one with Greg. And if you like me, follow me on Bill of the Forest on Twitter. If you don't, I don't give a fuck. Just don't be a dick.
There we go. Sugar plum stoned. And we're going down to Trooper. Trooper, my friend, how are you? And where can we find you online?
I had the time of my life. So I'm having a good time. Ezrin's not having that good of a time right now. He's had a hard month. I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. I'm like, ooh, it's so tasty. I'm so excited. I've got so many questions for Yannicka. But I feel like we're gonna be ambushed right now, so I don't know if I'll have the time to ask them. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm Trooper SJP, and you can find me. What day is today? My goodness gracious! It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. That's right. Tomorrow, whatever. Friday, you can find me over at Praxis channel at 11 a.m. Eastern time for Antony and Cleopatra. I'm gonna die. Spoiler. But it is Shakespeare, so I mean, a lot of people do. You don't know. And then you can find me that evening at 7 p.m. Eastern on my channel, Trooper SJP, where I'll be running another episode of City of Light and Shadow, which is a French resistance campaign using Fate that I'm running. And everybody's at a party, and JF over here might do some rash things. We don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. I'm excited. I don't know. I will say what a lovely campaign, what a lovely episode this was. I know season 1 culminates next week, and I'm so excited to find out what will happen, because I don't know. And I don't want to say anything, but I have a feeling that maybe, I don't want to be too harsh, I feel like Calhollow has been lying to me. I don't know. That's it. That's my current thought. I mean, I know I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but I'm thinking that it might be true. Those are my thoughts. That's it for me.
Okay, sure, whatever. No, that's awesome. Let's jump over to Josh. Josh, my friend, how are you, and where can we find you on the lines?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to next week. I was just mulling something over. You know, this is the first combat we are starting together. Ever. Like, we have never successfully started a combat, unless you count that one incident where we were doing sort of a hostage negotiation outside that town, and that wasn't really much of a combat. That was just, do you want to deal with us? Okay, one of you is dead. Now do you want to deal with us? So this should be interesting. there is something that I really wanted to get in at the end, but like next episode, like Eris is going to have to like babble some shit very, very quickly because I have a feeling that Greg has planned something masterfully and really nasty, and I'm onto you. I'm onto you, fucker. But next week, finale, I'm so hyped. I hope, lots of people are going to die, and then I really hope that we find out lots of other terrible things. And that's the thing. The closer you get to the end of any hunt in any respectable game of Witcher is the closer you get to realizing that nothing you believed it to be. So I can't wait to have the wall pulled over our heads and just be wrong about everything. But in the meantime, you can find me online at players_TV, where I post where I'm going to be. I have a Discord server that I'm running at the moment, which is text-based Discord server. So if you guys are out there at the moment, you can't play your TTRPGs with your friends, come join. Follow me on Twitter, follow Roleplayers on Twitter, and we will link you and you can join. And there's loads of people having fun all the time. But that's me. We will see you here next week. But I'm going to throw it over to whoever's next. The turn order is messed up. I don't know who's next. So
Fantastic. Let's jump straight up as we go to JF. JF, my friend, how are you and where can we find you online?
I'm good. I think we're doing great. I think there's probably a nasty sea monster coming. That's just a hunch. You know, we'll see what happens. Good to be prepared for the absolute worst. But why would I do that? It was nice to see Varan vent, because I was starting to think she was all ice. So that was good, and to see the surprise guest, and to see that it was Lindy, and to see that it was an elf, and then who's a doctor. Oh my god, it just was so much. That was a great surprise. That was the best surprise of all. You can find me at Double Crits on Twitter. You can also find me on Friday on City of Lights and Shadows with Foxhole, playing Jules, a driver who has been pushed to the edge, not of a cliff. And that's it for me.
Fantastic, buddy. And let's jump over to Hawk. Hawk, my friend, how are you? And where can we find you online?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Getting all of my stuff in order for what's probably going to be one bit of an interesting battle against a wench that I want to get out of my town as much as possible. You can find me on my channel during the week. Tuesday nights is the Lego night. We're doing Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time is my weekly Skyrim serial. I'm in the midst of the Fang and the Claw, where I've got a Dunmer Templar Knight who's joined a vampire hunting group, but they don't know he's got a slight touch of lycanthropy in his past medical history, which is going to make things fun. And then Saturday night, even if you're a fan of WWE and other styles of pro wrestling, no matter what's happening with all the lockouts, anything, whatever happens with Vince doing what he wants to do, Friday night, 7 p.m., Grapple Mania for Grappler's Keep. We're gonna have 2 title tournaments going on. We have all of the final 8 for the women's singles championship, and the current champion, men's champion in Grappler's Keep, has been stripped of his title, and we're going to have a tournament with the top 8. And guess what, Greg? You're one of the Elite 8.
I mean, of course, right?
Yeah, it'll be you, me, Pope World Bill, Dragons or Cats, Good Guy Pie, Han Shun, Tall Squall, and myself are the top 8 ranked wrestlers, and we're going to be doing a single elimination tournament to see who gets the Master of Melee belt. So that's going to be that'll be my stream coming up for Grapplers Keep this coming Saturday, along with all of the ladies, and Prax is one of the 8 ladies that's going to be participating in the tournament. So
fantastic, my friend, fantastic. And I like to say that I would strongly recommend. I'm a competent champion. I'm a fighting champion. I won't pull a Brock Lesnar and only show up like 6 times a year. So I can't wait. I'm going to definitely check that out. It's super fun, and you do fantastic commentary, my friend. Fantastic commentary. That's why I call you the digital Vincent K. McMahon. You are absolutely the best. And with that, last but certainly not least, our brand new member, Lindy. How are you, and where can we find you?
I'm doing spiffy. Tesla came to say hi at the very end. She hasn't been feeling very well because she had shots on Monday. So you all are all being graced with a great honor right now. I had a blast. I have been waiting for weeks. So excited to finally appear, which basically that gave me just a lot of time to work on my outfit. And I was like, let me knit my shawl here. I'm gonna feather up this wig. And I've loved watching, and I've so many things to do, and I can heal you motherfuckers now who always almost die every battle. No more.
Okay, I want to give one backstage spoiler.
Uh-huh.
Ainfra has been never at full health this entire campaign.
We're gonna fix that.
It's been at half or less, and we thank you, Legion, for making sure that I didn't die.
Well, everyone's gonna get a thorough medical examination after we're out of some of this shit. But that was super fun. I cannot wait for more. I love everyone's characters. I'm so thankful and happy to become a part of this. Bringing in the non-human representation, super dope, and excited for that. But you can find me online at LaughLoveLindy, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, etc. I play in and GM a lot of tabletop RPGs. You can find me on Praxis channel on Friday, where I will be Cleopatra, and I will also die. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good time. I've got a snake. I'm ready. I'm prepared. You can also find me just doing various things. I think I have something with Grant on Sunday, maybe? I don't know. I gotta get times for that, but it'll be fun. If you like Witcher, I play a sorceress in a Witcher campaign on Salty Sweet Games on Sunday mornings at 11 Eastern, and that's super duper fun. And we're definitely a lot more bumbling than this crew is, so check it out.
Fantastic, my friend, fantastic. And to give you some more backstage stuff, just real quick, I can't tell you after how many times when people would get hurt, I would get a DM from Lindy. Boy, they could really use a healer, Greg. And I'm like, well, we got to get it together and everything works. And, so it's been a long time coming. So glad that everybody is here. Fantastic session by all. Just love these characters, love these characters, love these characters. You all are fantastic players. The bouncing off between the brothers is so, I mean, I know that you all are putting a lot of work into it, but between Wim and Eris, it's so effortless. It's not that anything is spoiled for me, but I know how Dusa is going to react to a certain situation. And it's so comforting. It's not expected. It's just like, I know these characters like I would know a book or a TV series that I love. Just love them so very, very much. Grimjack21502 on the Twitter, Tales from the Grim here on the Twitch. Fun things coming up. I will be over on Encounter Roleplay on Friday. on Friday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We are doing a little Star Wars from Fantasy Flight, Edge of the Empire, The Man from Alderaan. It's set between New Hope and Empire, and we have, it's definitely got a Mandalorian Western feel to it. It should be a lot of fun. We have a lot of really great friends, great RPers that are going to be a part of that one. And then this Sunday, we have a Session Zero for a brand new show that we're having here. It's Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. We begin Capers Offworld, sponsored by Roll20, and we actually are going to have Craig, the developer of Capers, here, and we're going to do a little bit of Mass Effect-y, Outlander, Aliens vibe. Cops in space, figuring out fun stuff. It should be a lot. We're going to do character creation, brand new elements on Roll20. Really, really great stuff, great system. We're going to have that on Sunday to play around with. So troopers on it. We have a bunch of, again, great friends, great RPers will be there as well. Cannot wait for it. But everybody, make sure you come back here next Wednesday when we have the finale of Season 1. I think Josh said it best. He knows I have some shit planned, so we'll see. We'll see what it is.
But it's all be friendly, just friendly things.
It's a shopping episode. Spoiler alert.
The portal opens up to like a big shopping mall, but it's like in the present, so we all freak out and have to make checks. And we don't know.
Trooper, I didn't know you were going to be playing Molgoths versus Visigoths.
That's what we're doing, Molgoths versus Visigoths. It's a big surprise. We're all the Visigoths.
That's it.
Okay.
In the candy cane forest.
All right, everybody. And so as the campfire goes down, and by the way, thank you, Legion, before I say anything else. Great. Everybody's wonderful in chat. If you're watching on YouTube, please join us at the Discord link below. Join us any time of the day and we will answer nerdy questions because that's what we like. We're all kind of stuck inside, a lot of us right now. So reach out virtually and we can get through this fun little element and slice of history with kindness and storytelling. That'll be fun. So let's do that. And as the campfire goes down, there's only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s. You can always role play. See you next time, friends.